This is the news. Welcome to Tues News, the YouTube news show you can't afford to miss. In headlines tonight, the World Rugby Nations Championship is announced. Police found guilty of employment discrimination. PETA take fire over insensitivity towards Steve Irwin. And Five Guys announces UK closures. First up, and a new Rugby World League has been announced. Here's a video outlining all the details.
Building on the existing strengths of Rugby Six Nations and the Rugby Championship, the new World Rugby Nations Championships is set to be the most significant development in international rugby since the sport turned professional in 1995. This global annual competition will see the top international rugby nations divided into two conferences, the European Conference and the Rest of the World Conference. Each conference will have a Division 1 of 6 teams, a Division 2 of 6 teams, and a Division 3 comprising 16 teams per conference. Each nation will play the other 5 nations in its own conference and the 6 teams in the other conference, making a total of 11 regular season matches per nation per year. The European Conference Division 1 will initially comprise of England, France, Ireland, Italy, Scotland and Wales. The current Six Nations trophy will be awarded in April after the 5 rounds of fixtures between these teams. Championship points will be carried forward for each team's remaining fixtures against the 6 teams from the Rest of the World Conference. The Rest of the World Conference will include a Division 1 made up of Argentina, Australia, New Zealand and South Africa, plus 2 further nations qualifying on the basis of World Rugby rankings. Under the current rankings, these would be Japan and Fiji. After each team has played the other 11 Division 1 teams, the top 2 nations in each conference will enter the playoffs, to be played at the end of November. The winners of each semi-final will then play in the final match to decide the winner of the World Rugby Nations Championships. With relegation and promotion to be introduced between the divisions, the World Rugby Nations Championships will provide the pathway for emerging nations to play annually at the highest level of international rugby for the first time. Division 2 for each conference will be played under the same format, with conference winners facing off in relegation and promotion playoffs against the teams finishing bottom of Division 1. Each conference in Division 3 is split into 4 pools of 4 teams, who play each other home and away. Pool winners enter into conference semi-finals, with conference winners from Division 3 entering relegation and promotion playoffs against the bottom teams from Division 2. Using the existing calendar windows, the World Rugby Nations Championships will provide season-long context and meaning to international rugby. Every match will count. The World Rugby Nations Championships will be played in all years except Rugby World Cup years. Recognising the very special place that the British and Irish Lions tours have in international rugby, the schedule for the World Rugby Nations Championships will work with Lions tours. In Lions years, there will be no relegation and promotion between Division 1 and Division 2 in each conference. World Rugby Nations Championships, a new era for global rugby.
The Nations Championship is set to start in 2022. Cheshire Police have come under fire after a tribunal has found them guilty of racist, sexist and heterophobic behaviour. A police force which rejected a well-prepared potential recruit because he is a white heterosexual male has been found guilty of discrimination. Matthew Furlong, 25, whose father is a detective inspector in Cheshire Police, applied to join the force in 2017. When he lost out to other candidates, his father lodged a complaint. An employment tribunal ruled the force had used positive action to recruit people with different characteristics, but in a discriminatory way. Mr. Furlong, who studied particle physics and cosmology at Lancaster University, said he was told at the interview, "It was refreshing to meet someone as well prepared as yourself, and that he could not have done any more." Employment lawyer Jennifer Ainscough said, Matthew was denied his dream job simply because he was a white, heterosexual male. This is the first reported case of its kind in the UK where positive action has been used in a discriminatory way. The tribunal in Liverpool ruled Mr. Furlong had been a victim of direct discrimination on the grounds of his sexual orientation, race and sex. It ruled that while positive action can be used to boost diversity, it should only be applied to distinguish between candidates who are all equally well qualified for a role. The forces claimed that it had seen 127 candidates who were equally suitable for the role of police constable was a fallacy, the tribunal ruled, and imposing such an artificially low threshold, assigning candidates a pass or fail rather than any kind of score, was not a proportionate response to addressing the force's lack of diversity. Cheshire Police was among a number of forces criticised in 2015 for having no black officers, but has since taken steps to improve opportunity for those of different ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation and disability. The case has been adjourned until later this year for a remedy hearing to determine the amount of compensation to be awarded. A spokesman for Cheshire Police said, "We have been notified of the outcome of the tribunal and will review the findings over the coming days." The Cheshire Police isn't the only major organisation to come under fire in recent days. PETA, the Westboro Baptist Church of Animal Conservation, are no strangers to courting controversy, and their antics on the 22nd of February were no exception. To mark Steve Irwin's 57th birthday, Google created this doodle which it used on its homepage. Today's Google Doodle celebrates Steve Irwin, the legendary Australian wildlife advocate and TV personality whose bravery and passion opened the eyes of millions to the wonders of wildlife. PETA then kicked back with the following: Steve Irwin was killed while harassing a ray. He dangled his baby while feeding a crocodile and wrestled wild animals who were minding their own business. Today's Google Doodle sends a dangerous, fawning message. Wild animals are entitled to be left alone in their natural habitats. Now, as this is a news show, I'm not really meant to express my own opinion, so instead what I'm going to do is show you this screenshot from Wikipedia. People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. PETA is an asshole extremist organisation based in the fiery pits of hell and led by Satan himself, its international president. A non-profit corporation with nearly 400 employees, it claims that it has 6.5 million clinically insane members. In addition to claiming that it is the largest pet murdering group in the world, its slogan is "Animals are meant to be taken from their owners and murdered. People who actually help animals like Steve Irwin are evil and deserve to die. Hail Hydra." And then a bit of other stuff that I'm not going to read out loud. Now on to the local news in Bradford. Five Guys, the beloved burger chain, is set to close its doors on Friday the 8th of March, citing poor sales as the reason for closure. Employees were let know yesterday in a staff meeting. This comes as no surprise to some, with rumours of their closure being widely circulated for the last 6 months. Typical notice periods on a premises are between 6 to 12 months, which may be what prompted this news article from the Telegraph and Argos, a local newspaper, in September last year, almost 6 months ago to the day. However, successful local businesses have been offered the premises as much as 9 months ago, which could mean that Five Guys handed in their notice on the premises as long ago as a year. With rents of £65,000 per annum, which is 3 to 4 times the going rate in Bradford, plus any additional startup costs, it wouldn't be surprising if it was very difficult to fill this lot. Matthew Crowther, a resident of Bradford who eats at Five Guys most days, had this to say: "I am too devastated to do anything. This news has rocked me today. I am gutted beyond belief." Thank you, Matt. Thank you for watching and thank you for your continued support on Tues News. Hope you like it. If you did, give it a like. If you've not yet subscribed, can't wait to see that subscription notification coming from you. And if there's anything you want to say, make sure you put it down in the comments. This has been Chris Peel for Tues News. See you next time.
The bar's doing really well with the support from the Bing community. We're now looking to do coffee for 365 days of the year with our own blended coffee. We went out to the market to look at the various coffee brands that were on offer, and there's nothing we particularly liked. And quite coincidentally, we found a roaster in Bradford, which we got together. We had sampling days, we chose 3 beans, and created our own brand, which we feel is a perfect delivery for the bar. The result is a rich, delicious, flavoursome coffee. It's a Moorish coffee that you can't get anywhere else apart from 99 Men. And in addition, we have a fantastic hot chocolate made of real Belgian chocolate.